Okay. Hi. I'm Zoomers React. This is Millennial Money. Well, Zoomers React to Millennial Money. Episode 3. The Everything Market Crash. Let's just hop into it.
Nope.
Come on, somebody please bail me out. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Millennial Money. Hey, Andre, Graham, Jeremy, what's going on, folks? What's happening in the market today? Come on, somebody please bail me out. I'm a suffering man here.
Mortgage. Gosh, what a good stock today.
Who? Oh, Rocket. Oh, Rocket. Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm messing with my volume. Yeah, Rocket. But that one's been beat up for so freaking long, man.
You're in that one, Kevin?
Sorry, I am. And like, I'll tell you, that one's been beat up for so. Oh, I think somebody's double feeding. Somebody's really loud. Good?
Not me.
Better.
Not me.
Okay, well, fine. So, yeah, that one is one that, has been so beat up since it IPO'd. And I kept telling people, I'm like, I don't know, I think it's a really good buy under 23. You know how many, emails and, hate emails I've gotten because the darn thing was at, 18 to 19 forever? And I'm like, I'm sorry.
Oh, God. I bought in around 18 bucks, 19, and then I bought a lot when it dropped in that big kind of somewhat mini market crash. Not really, when everything was down 5%.
Yeah.
I bought more at 19, whatever it was. And today I was like, wow, I didn't even know what was going on. I just checked the portfolio. I'm like, wait, I should be down more than I am. What's going on here? And then I'm sorting through everything's normal. And then that one, I'm like, what happened?
So are you checking your portfolio every day?
Multiple times a day. It's bad.
Oh, wow.
Jeez,
Every
man.
hour, I check it, and then the first thing I do is if something's down, I just buy more.
Dang. You're turning into Kevin, Graham. That's what you're turning.
You do margins?
It's been fun. No margin.
All right.
Kevin is not that much of an influence on me on margin yet, but paying my taxes, I'm tempted.
Just wait till you get
See,
to 1% margin.
Yeah, that's how you start. You just start with just a little bit, a little sample. But Jeremy, I heard you got a big interest rate reduction.
Yes, and it's thanks to you, Kevin. Yeah, so I got Fidelity to come down to 1.55% if I want to take out margin. So
how'd you do that? You just call them up and you're like, yo, I'm going to JP?
yeah, so I used JP Morgan and I used Interactive Brokers as my leverage. And Interactive Brokers was under 2% as well. So I used the JP Morgan and the Interactive Brokers. And at first when I called, of course, you know me, I stay up late. So I call it's 1 a.m. And he's like, well, actually, sir, the margin department's not open right now, of course. So anyways, I have to call back the next day. And I spoke to the guy and the previous day, the guy said, you need to make sure you mention specific other companies and specific numbers. He's like, if you just call up and you're like, lower my rate, they're not going to do it. But if you have, specific offers and you mention those, we can, they're going to work with you. They're going to try to keep you. And so that's exactly what I did. And yeah, they got me down to 1.55%. So, I mean,
Wait, I want to be a fly on the wall in that conversation. What did you tell them? What numbers?
I told them 1.55 at JP Morgan, and I told them under 2% at Interactive Brokers, which, yeah. So I think Interactive Brokers, actually, I was looking into it. I think they offer just above 1% if you have more than, I think it's $2 million in the market or something like that. I think they're technically the most. Incredible. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I think they even beat JP Morgan.
You got to look into that.
Wait, who is it? Interactive Brokers?
Yeah, Interactive Brokers. I didn't look it super in depth. I looked enough to use it as ammo, but I'm pretty sure it was well under 2%. I think it was just above 1%. Interactive.
All right, guys. Millennial Money pro tip: all you need is $2 million. Just pro tip.
Matthew Wood here. Interactive Bros 1.6. That's what I was thinking it was because I read a lot on Reddit. Everyone in the Fat Fire community talks about Interactive Brokers being about that. So I was thinking above 1, they would be losing money on around 1.
Yeah.
It's got to be a break even for him, even at 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so cheap. It's crazy.
It is.
But it's also It's scary when everything's going down. But I want to know more. Jeremy, why are you up at 1 a.m.? What are you doing?
Looking into stocks and responding to Discord DMs.
Like, what's your sleep schedule, man?
Yeah, so my sleep schedule, I usually 1 a.m. now is like my bedtime. I'm trying to call it my bedtime. That's where I go into I go do meditation, and then that takes like 20, 30 minutes. And then right after meditation, I go to bed. So I'm trying to be in bed before 2 a.m. now. That's my new goal, and that's what I'm trying to accomplish. It's not easy though.
So, and then up, what, are you still getting like 6, 7 hours? Are you okay?
Yeah, I still get, because I don't wake up till like 10, 11 a.m. The other day I woke up at noon time. So, and I feel like Andre, don't you stay up super late too, or am I mistaken?
Dude, I stay up to like 3 or 4, dude.
It's the Vegas lifestyle.
It's bad.
Vegas lifestyle, man.
I know. I feel like it is a Vegas thing. But I still get up sometimes at like 7 to just script and work on the videos.
I don't know how you guys do it. I've been on the schedule where I've been like in bed by 10, 10:30. I'm waking up around 6, 6:30-ish. I like that. I got to say, mornings are so nice.
Graham, once you're out in Vegas full time, next thing you know, you're going to be popping over at my house like 1:30 a.m. We're going to be talking about thumbnails.
It has been bad because we've had a few podcast guests, and when someone comes in from out of town, we don't want to just cut it off at like, all right, it's 9:30, got to go to bed. So it's like usually you'll want to go and like hang out. So yeah, I see what you mean about Vegas. It has been creeping up later and later. Like I got home the other night at like, I think it was Saturday night at like 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. It screws me up though. I'm just out the next day.
Grams, did you guys find the assistant? Because, okay, so we were at Graham's house during the Logan Paul Pokemon unboxing, and I saw Jack interviewing for the position, or Jack's assistant. Did you guys make a decision on that?
No decision yet. So it's very tough. We're going through everybody. We're speaking with different people. I don't want to say too much, but so far we've been so happy with really everything. So let's see where it goes. But no final decision has been made yet. I don't want to say too much. Show my hand, but things have been going.
By the way, did you guys catch the? So Grant, your friend Grant, he bought a pack for like $40,000.
$40,000. Grant Navarre.
Yeah.
Grant Navarre, for anyone who wants to subscribe to him on YouTube. We'll give him a free plug. Really nice guy.
Gosh, so he got Doug Trio for anyone familiar with Pokemon. It's like that.
So bad. $41,000 for a card that's probably worth $3 and a PSA, like $3,000 and a PSA 10.
Maybe. Yeah. But you know what's crazy? When you bought that Pokemon pack from Logan, you got a digital or like an NFT, a token of Logan, and that token is now worth $40,000. It's worth what the Pokemon pack was. So if you bought the Pokemon pack from him, it's like you got it for free.
Yes. Yeah. Looking back, I could have just bought the pack for $41,000, got the NFT for free, got a free pack, sold off the NFT, got all my money back.
Crazy, man. Where's our NFT?
Oh, man. I was looking at these things like the what are they called? They're the cyber funks or no? I don't know. There's so many of them.
Yeah.
I don't like. I still don't get it. I still can't bring my head around investing in these things. I can't do it.
You're such a millennial, Kevin.
Like, what am I like the market value of that? If we have a real like market correction, which in some ways kind of feels like is brewing or is here, or maybe this is just a bump in the road, aren't these things just going to collapse in value as people try to rush to raise liquidity and cash out of everything? I mean, I feel like you just get a few people selling these things. There goes your market value when you need it the most. It's kind of like in the market crash when the banks are like, sorry, you can't take your money out.
Right. Gosh, I don't know. That's probably going to happen at some point, like it did in 2017 with all the ICOs. But who knows? We could have another 2-3 years to go before that point. Yeah, we don't know. That's
a good point. Yeah. Okay, well then we need to make one.
How do I margin this NFT?
Oh man,
millennial
money.
Why do
you guys think the stock market's going down? Is it anything specific? Like people are flocking to like different alternative investments, like maybe cryptos or these NFTs, or do you think something else is going on?
Well, I mean, yeah, I'll jump in. I think mortgage rates are maybe spooking a few people because mortgage rates have risen quite substantially recently, haven't they, guys?
Interest rates?
Let's see.
A little bit.
Mortgage
Not
rates, just in the past week or two, haven't they risen a decent amount?
Probably.
It's still
'Cause I know
low,
that-
low threes.
Yeah, I was thinking. I saw something recently. I was pretty sure they were creeping up mortgage rates just very recently, like just in the past 7 days. I don't
They're
know.
not,
Maybe
they're
that
not
much?
as low as they were back in like September, October. They're
Yeah.
in the low threes right now, but still low enough where if you got a mortgage at like 3.2, it's a fantastic rate. Like I would still be getting mortgages at that rate.
Yeah.
Well, where do you guys check your interest rates? Do you guys just look on bankrate.com, like for the average interest rates, or do you guys go somewhere
Chase
else?
is actually pretty accurate. If you go, I think it's Chase Bank mortgage interest rates. Those I found to be pretty good.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
Google
See.
Chase Bank mortgage
I think
interest
Kevin
rate.
probably looking it up.
Because
I've lately have enjoyed. Let's see, I'll pull it up here, and nobody ever. I don't know if it's like clickbait, but nobody ever seems to get this. But I just use it to kind of track and see what the difference is that's going on, or sort of how things are changing. So it's change over time. Let me pull it up here. So it's this one. It's the Zillow Mortgage Calculator app. They've got an app for it, and they have a website too. You can kind of see just this consistent down from like 19, the pandemic, driving this all down over here. But I think we're really just like this little, oh my God, it's just this change in trajectory that I think is freaking people out. I don't know.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I think, a lot of people try to look to the future, right? And the stock market's always trying to look 6 to 12 months in the future. And so I think it says, okay, this is a trajectory. If rates continue to rise, maybe that's something that hurts the market. And I remember Kathy Wood recently in an interview, she talked about this. She talked about, even a lot of stocks she owns, which are growth stocks. She talked about if interest rates rise, and that's going to mean valuations have to come down, especially on a lot of the growth stocks, that the valuations have really risen rapidly over the past year, right? I mean, we're looking at some of the biggest valuations for some of these stocks on forward P metrics we've seen since the tech bubble. So, that tells you all you pretty much need to know. And so I think that's part of it, but I'd love to hear your guys what you
Well,
think.
I actually bought the dip last week when we hit it that big fall. I bought 20 grand of Apple, which is very unlike me because Apple's a very growth oriented stock, but sort of dividends. I don't know, man. I'm just waiting for the Apple card. Like
That's not crypto. What are you
That's
doing
not
with that? By the way, really
Hey.
quick, I thought it was funny. As soon as you posted the Cardano video, just like you said, Cardano dropped.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought would happen. It's like, oh God, influencers are talking about Cardano sell off. Yeah, time to I totally get it. It's so, markets are so fickle. It's just the same as the stock market. I just think the crypto market's way more fickle. It's like any small signal that you see, you're like, oh God, this guy's talking about it. Okay. It's just crazy. I've known about Cardano for forever. It's just, there's a lot of cryptos I don't talk about just because I don't think they're as relevant. People aren't asking, and just YouTube's all about the algorithm, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like people were talking about Cardano. So I was like, great, I'm going to make a video about Cardano. It's supposed to be Ethereum's biggest competitor.
Are you buying it?
Did you speak bad about it, Andre? Like, I'm trying to figure out why it would have dropped if you brought a bunch of attention toward it.
Well, I mean, the whole crypto market dropped, so maybe it was just coincidence. Maybe it's not because I made that video. Literally,
you dropped the entire crypto market.
Say again? Oh, the other video.
Or you dropped the entire market, like.
So I've got the Jack effect on the crypto market.
Poor Jack.
Are you buying it?
I did buy, but only just I specifically told people, I was like, please don't think these are investments. Like, these are speculative bets. Don't go into this thinking that you're investing in any way, shape, or form, because you're not. All of these cryptocurrencies, except for maybe Bitcoin and maybe Ethereum, they're not as speculative, but everything else, it's almost like you have this influx of these retail investors that feel like they figured out, like, oh, I figured out the next best technology in crypto. And that's the same thing that happened in 2017 when we had this ICO craze, where people were like talking about Ethereum. And so like within crypto, there's like 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0. Crypto 1.0 was, the crypto that discovered blockchain. That was Bitcoin. And then 2.0 was Ethereum, meaning, it had smart contracts. It was like smart programmable money. That's crypto 2.0. And there's a lot of crypto 2.0s. And now it's like the next phase of the evolution in the crypto space, which is 3.0, which is just a simplified way of saying we're migrating from proof of work to proof of stake, which is like a different way of securing the network. And Ethereum has been doing that, or it's been trying to do that for a while now with Ethereum 2.0. But Cardano kind of started off promising people, proof of stake, but it hasn't done it yet really either fully. Like every one of these techs, like these cryptos are promising the world. And I'm just looking at the communities, honestly. So if you're looking to like invest in these cryptos, I think the best proxy to look at are the teams and the developers. And there's no bigger team in development space than Ethereum's. Everybody's on Ethereum. So for me, I also think Vitalik Buterin, the guy who invented Ethereum, I think he's the smartest person in the entire crypto space. And I would not bet against him. He's like the Elon of crypto. So to me, Ethereum is still the best, but I just put in like $3,000 into Cardano just to get the experience, Yeah.
Okay, so what, like, can't Bitcoin just emulate or speed up these transactions and essentially make smart contracts as well at some point?
Absolutely, yeah. So within crypto, like the easiest way to describe what I'm talking about, like we used to use gold, right? Like we would transact. So if you think of gold as layer one, like base layer,
yeah.
If Bitcoin is layer one, then the solution to scaling, and this is what you're saying, Kevin, with like all these smart contracts, is to build a layer on top of that. So in the gold analogy, our layer two is the dollar. That's the paper system, right? So we're transacting on these make-believes pieces of paper. That's our layer two. And so with Bitcoin, we can do the exact same thing, and that's how they're trying to solve the problem. They're trying to create a side chain or layer two where we can open up channels with each other, transact infinitely for very cheap, and then when we close out that channel, the transactions settle on layer one on the blockchain.
Got it.
But everybody's promising that. So we have no idea who's really going to do it well, who's going to do it first, and I'm just looking at the development teams and just judging it that way.
Because I mean, it's kind of crazy, but I mean, did this kind of just like come out of nowhere? Because I'm just looking at, for example, here, what is this? CoinGecko. And so we've got Bitcoin's number one, and then there's Ethereum, and then all of a sudden here's Cardano, number three.
But then Tether replaced,
But then you've got all of these, which is just crazy. You have this endless, that's a $39 billion market cap. Bitcoin 913 billion. So wildly the most popular.
Interesting.
Wow, Bitcoin Cash
times?
fell so much. Why did Bitcoin Cash fall so much? Down to 10?
Where's it at right now, market cap wise? Oh my God, I could talk to you guys about Bitcoin Cash forever. Oh my gosh.
Okay, because I'm trying to figure out, because I know one of the gentlemen kind of broke off from Bitcoin. What was his name? What's that guy's name? So many people hate him in the crypto space.
Roger Ver.
Thank you. Yeah. So what happened? Because he used to talk about how Bitcoin Cash was so much better than Bitcoin. It made so much more sense. The transaction times were way better. Blah blah blah. Like what's going on with all that?
Okay, so I haven't been following Bitcoin Cash's development for a while now, but I can tell you like the premise for people that aren't familiar. Bitcoin Cash was, so in 2017, Bitcoin forked. And forking, by the way, happens all the time. That's like a code word for upgrade, basically. Yeah. So once it forks, but in 2017, it was like a political fork. It was a political battle that happened. And the political battle was between how do we scale this technology, right? On one hand, we had BTC, the ticker symbol that we have now for Bitcoin. Right. They thought that we should scale via second layer, which is what I described to you guys previously, to scale off chain, to just use these other side technologies and then use the blockchain layer one as just a settlement layer. And then there was the second side of people with Roger Ver that you were talking about. And his plan was to scale by increasing the block size. So for anyone unfamiliar with like what that means, it just means we can stuff more transactions in a single block, which means now we can have, more transactions per second. So there was a huge disagreement in the community, and Bitcoin split and it forked into two different currencies. If you owned Bitcoin before the split, you would own both coins equally, the equal amount of. Does that make sense with me so far?
basically when that moment happened, they're like, hey, you own 10 Bitcoin. We're just going to magically give you 10 Bitcoin cash. This is the start of our currency, and let's go.
Yes, but it's not like we're going to give it to you. It's like, imagine if there's like a timeline of like time, and time gets forked into two different realities.
Right.
So it's not like somebody, what's up?
I'm so confused. I'm looking at Jeremy's reaction too. I think Jeremy and I are on the same. We're just politely listening.
Which part are you confused about? Let's ask the audience if they're confused. All of it.
The whole thing. How do they decide? How do they argue and like not come to an agreement? And then one person's like, "All right, I'm just gonna go and do my own thing." How are they able to do that? And then
it's not one person. It's not how it works. So miners use their computers to mine the blocks, right? So when the chain split, some miners went one direction and another set of miners went the other direction. And so that's basically what happens. That's how the split happens. It's
every
like there was
a miner. I just imagine like
18,
someone
17-year-old. What do we rename them to? That's like less.
Just imagine weird. It's like elementary school. Like, yeah, we got these miners over here.
All right, so the third graders went left, the fourth graders went to the right, and we got the split. But so yeah, I mean, which part are you confused about? I'll clarify it.
I don't know if the audience is going to get frustrated with me not understanding. That's
let me get a try just to maybe catch up. So basically, 2017, you got Bitcoin. People mining are just verifying the transactions, so they're doing work for Bitcoin. So something happened in 2017. Somebody's like, "Yo, I want to create this alternate to Bitcoin, and it's called Bitcoin Cash." And a bunch of programmers are like, yeah, screw Bitcoin. We want to go to Bitcoin Cash because that's the next big thing or whatever. And so they start basically verifying transactions for Bitcoin Cash. So, I mean, all you've really done is created another currency is what you're saying. So is there like a limited supply of Bitcoin Cash? Is it like pegged to Bitcoin somehow? Is there even anything connecting the two anymore? Or are they both just their own coins? I mean, is it just like a weird ICO?
They're exact carbon copies of one another.
That's confusing.
The only difference is the block size.
What?
Yeah. The only difference is how they plan to scale. So imagine one philosophy said, we want to use this crypto Bitcoin as a currency, literally like you use the dollar. The other side said, no, we want to use it as a store of value. We want it to be digital gold. Digital gold, store of value, that, what's the word for it? That narrative won. The other narrative of using it as a currency is, well, losing or lost since it's not, the number one market cap.
Wait, so which would prevent people from Bitcoin Cash having a disagreement with Bitcoin Cash and then they make Bitcoin like sense? Or like Bitcoin change?
It's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened.
But what's to stop Bitcoin Cash from then forking? Everyone with Bitcoin Cash, it's like
it did. So that's where it lost me. I was following the two philosophies. I was like, I totally get it. I love the premise of it being a currency. And then once that community started fighting with each other, and I was like, I'm out. I can't keep up with like the politics of it all. But it's interesting that it's just two different scaling solutions. That's it. And I don't know. I'm not fully 100% convinced that we figured it out yet, that like the fork of BTC, which is what holds the most value, I'm not 100% convinced that that's what won or that's what will win, which is why I kind of have both. I have Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin because I don't know at the end of the day what we're going to use.
Do you still think that Bitcoin is going to replace money?
Not anytime soon. Yeah. In the next 10 years minimum, assuming quantum computing doesn't take over. But speaking of quantum computing, a lot of people are afraid of that. But with this fork, these forking upgrades, people can just write in code to deal with these quantum computers and have a different consensus model where it can deal with quantum computing. So Bitcoin technically is quantum computing resistant, provided that it can upgrade in time.
People just want to know what to buy. I'm reading the comments. We just got to tell them what to buy.
And one of the things that I look at is, look, I just, there are so many tiny little micro cap companies that exist out there. And something that I usually just look at is I go, okay, you can invest in like 100 different pharmaceutical companies that are, let's say, 20-cent stocks or penny stocks, or maybe they're $2 or whatever. And maybe one of them will hit it. But with how quickly Cardano just replaced Tether, me personally, if I'm going to invest in cryptocurrency, why would I not just invest in the number one? Like, why do I have to pick the other one? Now, maybe there's going to be some faster growth on the smaller one, but it could also just as well die. So I sometimes I wonder, is picking an altcoin, maybe with the exception of Ethereum, is it kind of like just, okay, cool, I'm going to put, $100 into 200 different penny stocks, and maybe one of them will go to the moon. Cool, but that $200 investment's not going to make you rich. Whereas if you concentrated a lot of your money into some high conviction, in this case, cryptocurrencies, you probably have a greater chance of actually building wealth in the long run. We just saw how quickly Tether got replaced by this other thing.
I agree with you. Long-term wealth building, you should not focus on these pseudo penny stocks, but it's not necessarily true that putting in $100 didn't make you rich, because in 2017, putting $100 in something like Tron at the time was like a penny, went to like 10, whatever it was, and then it made people hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's the appeal to them. But I totally agree with you that
like Dogecoin.
There's really, in my mind, there's two cryptocurrencies that are worth considering. Bitcoin, because it is the winner in terms of the narrative of store of wealth. I get that premise. Like, I can follow that. And then there's the second premise, which is smart programmable money, which is, to me, Ethereum, smart contracts, DAOs, whatever, these NFTs. I get that too. Now, that's the side I'm not sure about which one is going to win. I think on the store of value side, Bitcoin will win. On the programmable money side, I look at the team and the development and the community. I think that's the best proxy we have to go off of.
It just, honestly, I have to say, it's weird to hear you talk about the developer side, because here I am thinking cryptocurrency and Bitcoin certainly is decentralized and nobody's making any decisions. It's just we've all collectively as a community agreed to this rule set, and there's nobody making decisions. But you're talking about now these programming teams, kind of like these are almost companies and stocks, which I'm sure they are, at least in the case of Cardano. It's overwhelming.
It is overwhelming. It is. I'm not going to lie there. It is.
Can you get margin on crypto yet?
I think you can, right?
Just everyone would be all.
I don't mess with that. That's like double whammy right there. I'm good with that. Yeah.
BlockFi does let you do that. I will not do that though. That is, I mean, it's Tesla's volatile enough to margin. Okay.
Yeah. So Jeremy, did you buy any crypto yet?
No, I still just own that one stock, the MSTR, that owns like 90,000 Bitcoin. That's it so far.
You will when we hit 100,000. When you hit 100,000 subscribers, which is a reminder to everyone watching right now. It's so easy to go and subscribe, because every person that subscribes is one person closer to Jeremy actually going and buying Bitcoin. So if you want to do that,
subs, that's true.
So if you wanted to do that, all you got to do right now is just tap the subscribe button. And once we hit 100,000, Jeremy, you better buy Bitcoin.
As soon as Jeremy buys Bitcoin, I'm selling.
I'm exiting. Yeah,
I'm going to be the last person to buy. No, I'm just
Jeremy. If you were to buy one crypto, which one would you buy?
Ethereum.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Okay.
Why? Ethereum. Well, I already have exposure to Bitcoin through that MSTR stock. One, and two, there's just something about Ethereum I just think is going to be big. Like long term, it's hard for me to imagine Ethereum not being like a big thing 20, 30 years from now. I'm still like fully trying to wrap my head around it, but like it's hard for me not to see it be a big thing. Which, by the way, Andre, I didn't get to see your video about Ethereum going to 10,000. All I saw was a thumbnail so far. But is that like a prediction that it's going to go there over time, or what was that about? Things
you guys do YouTube, you know how these things go. Okay. These titles, you know what they are. It's so crazy. Like, I'm like, I kind of hate myself sometimes. I'm like, how do I make this video appealing so that I get the message across, but get people excited enough to click on it? And so, like, I honestly don't know what Ethereum is going to go to, but the premise of it was that if it reaches $1 trillion market cap or whatever it was, then yeah, I could go to the moon. But I did mention the $10,000 market cap, but that's like $10,000 price point. But that's 3 to 5 years from now, at least.
Okay.
So, yeah. But
hey, not to change the subject, but who's more frugal, you or Graham? Let's really debate this out.
Now, I would say,
that's a great question.
I think, I don't know, Andre, I feel like you're more frugal than me now.
I think I've always
I tried to get you to, well, I'm not going to say, but I've tried to get you to spend some money lately, and you didn't do it.
Yeah. What do you mean with the house?
Yes, I wanted you to move in the community.
I would love to be Jeremy's and Graham's neighbors. Like their house is so sick. It's like in the coolest community. It's like tall ceilings. Like it's everything I would ever want. But considering that I had no exposure to real estate, to go from $0 to like at the time my entire net worth just didn't make any sense to me. So I didn't go down.
Had you bought at the time where I was telling you, you would be up right now about 150 grand, maybe more. Jeremy, I think maybe more, maybe $200,000.
Yeah, okay. 200 to 250 right now.
All right, Kevin, you got to be on my team on this one, or maybe not, but like you tell me. So my whole spiel is I don't know if that's real market value for those houses. That's the construction
value is what someone is willing to pay. That's the market. And if people are paying and they're selling out.
But these construction companies are creating their own comparables. They're creating their own comps. Those are not like real people market comps.
Are they though? They're buying them. Yes. They're building something. They're building a product that people are buying. If people are buying them, that's the market value. If prices keep going up, it means there's so much demand that they can charge a higher price.
Gosh, I don't know. You guys are the real estate agents more, so you guys would know more about real estate.
Tiebreaker.
Yeah, the split here is that when you buy a new construction house, it has a slight new to used car impact when you go to resell it. In my opinion, usually there could be like a 5 to 10% sometimes change when a house goes from new to used. Usually because Graham, we'll come right back to you in just a moment. Usually what I see is when new construction homes sell, they sell out the builders, the developers, they raise the price. Where it gets complicated is the price goes up at the same time as the market is also going up, right? And so when these developments are sold out, people don't get the luxury of going through the new home design process. I get to pick my finishes. I get, everything's brand spanking new. It's totally different feeling, totally different process. Then they go to a traditional resale. Usually resale can have a little bit, like if you sold new construction the day after you bought it and whatever, usually you're not going to get what the new construction ones are going for immediately, which is what I've seen, especially if you lived in it. Because again, it has this, for some reason, you get a little bit of that used car thing. Not so much at all in real estate. Like it's not like you drive it off the lot and there goes a third of your value. It's nothing like that. That tends to disappear after a couple years, and you really merge with market value, I've seen, because it usually takes a couple years for these developers to sell out. But look, Graham, when did you sign your contract for your property?
That would have been in August. Now
okay, let me quickly say one thing quickly. So you bought in August. Prices since then in the market in the grand, probably in Vegas, my guess from the last time I looked is you've probably have seen like a 7 to 8% bump in values, and that kind of aligns with this 120,000 or 50,000 or whatever you're talking about. So in that case, yeah, I mean, look, when you sign a new construction home contract, you have a free option on real estate appreciation basically in the houses until the house is done. The best thing you could do is buy a new construction home at the beginning of a development, and it takes them like a year and a half to build the damn thing, because a year and a half later you're like, did the market go up? Do I want to keep buying this or not? And you just bomb the deal. If the market crashes at the end, they're probably not going to sue you for your deposit. Get your money back. It's the best free option you can get.
Here's the thing. So here's my counter argument. I was very much like you in that once you sell a new construction, you get a little bit of a loss there. It's never going to be as nice unless the market goes up because it's not new. Now you're going to be the second person to live there. What I've noticed, Vegas is different. It's a different market. These new construction communities, when you get in early, it's almost like you get like a 15, 20% discount for having to deal with the construction everywhere. Like when you go in the community and there's just like trucks coming in between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m., you get a discount for that. And if you get in early enough, people will pay a premium to have a finished community. So I really think that we're still about 2 years away from having that finished community where all of a sudden all the houses are done. There's not a single construction site left. And at that point, that would be the time of peak value. Not to mention, a lot of people are still moving here. I've met some of the neighbors now, and guess what? They're all from California.
Stop it.
Yeah.
You know, I have to. I want to add to that and say, it can sometimes go both ways, because this is true as well. Like when I buy fixer-uppers, I'm obviously not buying new construction neighborhoods because they ain't fixer-uppers. But when I buy a fixer-upper, my favorite fixer-upper to buy is buying a house in a neighborhood that's high quality and established. So Graham, to your point, when you buy in a new construction development, you have no idea if you're going to get crap neighbors or good neighbors. Now, price, you can assume while you're buying in the 1.5 range, you're probably going to get people that are, aren't going to create a disaster of the neighborhood. But yeah, I mean, you do have that sort of neighborhood development effect yet where it hasn't matured yet. And it's like, oh, crap. And I've seen this in my area out here or in neighboring cities. Well, they'll build a new development. Everybody's super gung-ho about it. And after a couple years, I've gone through them to go resell some of these homes. And all of a sudden, it's like there are needles on the ground. There's trash everywhere. I'm like, what happened, right? So sometimes that could be, to Graham's point here, something that could keep that value depressed a little bit. That's true, because you don't know yet.
Right. Anyway, it was not money that I could afford to pay $1.5 million because I think they wanted the 2 years, which I didn't have. I don't have 2 years of income to show them, and I certainly didn't want to pay cash for it.
Yeah, that was the thing. You had to do proof of funds, and you have to put a substantial amount down. There's a 5% non-refundable fee or the down payment that you have to pay within 3 days in order to get the deal, and that's non-refundable.
Yeah, they say it's non-refundable. They ain't gonna fight you for it. My guess.
How are you gonna
not
get it back?
legal advice.
You wire them the money. How are you getting that back? You would have
because
to,
you have a contract on the house, so they can't resell the property to somebody else. So if you're not performing, they can't resell the property to somebody else unless you've terminated. And in most places, you open up with an escrow company that's going to require either an arbitration or canceled instructions. So even though technically you could be in breach, it's a pain in the butt to they'd have to sue you to keep that money. Generally, they give you your money back. They're like, F you, we'll go sell it to somebody else. But either way, I mean, it's not like you want to go into new construction homes and cancel them, right? And definitely hashtag not legal advice, right? But I mean, Andre, you could have done 1 year and year to date, man. You know, you've got.
I'm sure, yeah.
Why didn't you do that?
Just because I didn't want to have so much of my money tied up into the real estate that and I don't think I need a house like that big. I'd love to, but I mean, I'd love to have a big house.
And that's where we get into the part where I think Andre might be the most frugal, potentially, of all of us right now.
I still live with a roommate. My rent is $450. Wow. So
yeah,
like I get a lot of comments like, you make $1 million, but you live with a roommate. You're what? but to Graham's point, whenever we go out, he like consciously is like, he like looks through menus in the restaurants and he's like, nah, the burger's too expensive. So like he makes these small, like little decisions and he like thinks about them like fault like a long time. And I'll be like, bro, this will make zero difference to you in any given, like, why are you thinking about this?
Graham's laughing because he used to do that.
In a lot of ways, he's much more frugal than me, but in a lot of ways, he does spend money, but he justifies it as an investment. Even though I'm not always 100% in agreement with as far as like, that's the best investment, but it's by no means bad. It's good. It's different. Yeah.
That's accurate.
Yeah,
Graham, I think you get enjoyment though out of constantly reinvesting in your business, because your business is really the everything business. I mean, you can make a finance video about almost anything. I bought a new house, finance. You can make a video about furniture you bought for your podcast, right? And now you're going to monetize your expense. You know?
Well, this is my tomorrow video. I'm taking a big risk on this, but I got a car. I think people know which one it is, but I'm like, I am so nervous about this video. I put so much time into it, and then I watched it today, fully edited, and I didn't like the video, believe it or not.
What?
I think I'm just being too critical of myself.
Why?
I just didn't feel like it flowed. I felt like there are bits in it that just, the video was like 15 minutes. I cut out 5 minutes because I was like, I'm going to lose people's attention. So
I saw the car, and it's an incredible car. It's a super cool car. Yeah, it's an amazing car. But my whole approach is I had that same issue. I don't remember with what video, but I was so afraid to post it. And I was like, oh, people are going to judge me. They're going to think I'm stupid. And my philosophy has always been to just be super transparent about that fear and just being honest with people. And I think that just gets people to be like, at least vulnerable and like not, you know.
Yeah, I think I was too analytical with it. And I think I went into it with the mindset of just like, here's the numbers. It's all about the numbers. I don't think I gave enough like emotion in there. And like
more heart.
Yeah. And it might be a little too surface level, like just too numbersy. And I'm worried that like maybe that ruins the authenticity of the video by being like, here are the numbers.
It's almost like he might be. Yeah, I see what you're saying. If you give it a little bit more emotion, you're just like, look, guys, I can give you the numbers all day, every day, and make sense of this. But really, the biggest and best reason why I bought this is because I wanted it, and it makes sense considering my financial.
Because the numbers made sense. If the numbers didn't make sense, I don't want it that badly. If the numbers don't make sense, like I only want the car because the numbers made sense. So like,
but to be honest, you did not buy it because it made sense numbers wise. You bought it because that's what you want.
I believe, listen, okay, between the two, between keeping cash in a savings account, losing money to inflation versus cash in a car, I honestly believe the car is a better use. I will get a higher return on the car than I will in a savings account. And if I
but that's a false dilemma though, because you could be putting that money into stocks.
Yes, but assuming I was not, assuming I wanted like a safety net, assuming I wanted something that's just different.
Dude, your car's not a safety net, man.
Yeah, and here's another thing, Graham, you're not even thinking about, okay? If the market tanks, people sell those cars first before they sell anything else.
Nobody's gonna sell their car.
This is where we can like break this apart. Okay, here's the difference between going to the casino and dropping this this money or buying a car. It makes more sense to buy the car.
Well, here's Model S Plaid purchaser here talking about people dumping cars, Jeremy.
Wait, what?
Talk about that. hey, I think this is a part of the video where we talk about, Kevin, have you thought about moving to Vegas yet, man? Have you heard about the tax
Nice
change?
deflection, Jeremy.
Oh man.
Yeah,
every video,
I think all of us are allowed at least like one, like all of us in the world are allowed that one thing that we just love, that we just spend money, regardless if it makes sense or not. And I think if we go into it just saying that, like, look, the numbers make sense, but you know, I didn't buy it because the numbers. I bought it because I really wanted it. I think people appreciate that more than trying to like pigeonhole the numbers into it and be like, I don't know. Maybe that's.
I don't know. Between every option out there, this car to me made the most sense with the numbers. That would like it really came down to me as a financial decision on what's going to be the best value, and that's like the same way I look at a menu for food. I'm like, how do I get the most value from this burger? Like I don't need cheddar cheese. I don't need the avocado. This is the best value.
That's such a political, like that's such a politician answer. I love that because it's like, you know, this car was the best. Be like, hold on, wait a minute. Why did it have to be a car? Why couldn't it be more real estate or like Bitcoin or something? I don't know.
I don't want to have an empty garage.
There it is. There it is. We found it. I didn't want the empty garage.
It's for the set. I have to get something in the background of the set. You know,
it's a tax expense. It's for the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Actually, can you expense it completely?
I got to talk to the accountant. My understanding is that as a backdrop, you would be able to depreciate the value of the car over 5 years. Just take a standard write-off of that. So as far as expensing the entire thing, that's where it gets iffy. Some, I won't name anybody, some people are able to expense the car as a prop and write off the entire amount in the first year. I don't know if I want to go that route. That seems a little
risky. Yeah.
Taking a 5-year depreciation is standard. So that's what I'm thinking, but we'll see. I don't want to say anything 100% because I need to really talk with an accountant and just like make sure. But my understanding, 5-year depreciation.
Kevin,
okay.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I spent like $1,000 on some digital art.
No,
NFT
you didn't.
now? Wait, just now?
No, it was in Rust. I bought skins for all of our armor.
Oh, that's funny.
I feel like I gotta give back because I play this game and everybody plays it so much more than I do because I'm sitting here making videos and I'm like, well, I'll buy everybody costumes and now we look badass when we're roaming around. We've all got the same outfit. It looks amazing.
That's right. I spent like $500 or $1,000 in the last 6 years, I want to say, on a stupid game called Puzzle and Dragons. It's like this Bejeweled style plus Pokemon game. It's so stupid, but yeah, we've got our stupid purchases that we've spent money on. Actually, I wanted to ask you, Kevin, what was the like the reason you bought the Tesla Roadster? I know you bought the old Roadster.
Yeah,
what
it
was
was solely as a backdrop in the garage set, which I haven't really been using. I want to use it more. I had to swap out a computer, and I kind of destroyed everything. So I've been too lazy to do it. So I'll just make more videos. Which
How is that car? Like I've never driven it. Is it fast? Is it?
No, I mean it's okay. I don't think it's as fast as like my Model X, which isn't even the performance. It's just awesome because the weather here is such that I could take this thing out any day of the year almost, and it's just a really fun ride. I did realize though, I thought I signed up for insurance for it on Geico, and I totally thought I was insured. And apparently that got rejected and never went through. So I've been driving it uninsured for like the past chunk of time
That
here.
doesn't
Which
sound safe.
yeah, now I'm not driving it until I actually get insurance.
Speaking of car insurance, though, for people watching, do you guys use a specific, like, have you figured out which car insurer typically is the cheapest, or is there like a consensus here about which? Is there like a fintech company out there that's just insuring people for super cheap? Or is it just super situational, you guys think?
I heard of this company. I haven't tried them, but I heard of this company Root, and they're trying to do like the Lemonade approach. I've never quoted with them. I'm sure Lemonade at some point will get into cars as well.
Okay.
But so far, I've just been really lazy with Geico. And in my case, for some reason, I don't know. I know Graham got a better deal on his insurance quote, but for some reason, Geico actually gave me a pretty good price on my Tesla Model X. So it's just easy because I go in there, I put the VIN number in, add car, done, with the exception of what just happened where I put the VIN number in, I'm like done, and then it wasn't done.
They're great. It didn't work. This video is not sponsored by Geico.
Yep.
Wait, was that cheaper than Tesla?
It actually was. Yeah, who knows? Maybe I should run it again and just see. But yeah, it was cheaper than Tesla in my case. Yeah.
I saved a whole bunch of money on my car insurance by switching to no car. I still don't own a car.
I think it's freaking awesome, man. Cars are stupid. Oh, sorry. Cars, I think are not the best investments. I'm gonna soften that a little bit because I'm sorry, Graham. I even the one that I have in the Roadster, I'm just like, man, it's just a liability. Like at some point I have to maintain the brakes and there are oils and it's just another thing. Honestly, one of the things I've found is like so many things just gives me a headache. It's just so much crap I got to deal with.
No,
there's
true.
a bill for that and storage for that.
That's why you pay
and you get a storage unit.
All that.
What?
That's why you pay somebody to handle all that. I don't even know what insurance I have.
Well, hey.
Hold on. Let me log this into things rich people say.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. Jeremy, you've built one heck of a team, and I think it's awesome. It also, I think that's partially why you go to bed so late, though.
Yeah, because Kevin, then if you hire somebody to handle all these tasks on a daily basis, then you're going to have to manage that person or have somebody manage that person and still manage them. So yeah, that's a good point.
No, I think the best investment Graham has made is hiring Jack, or like having somebody to like help, because everything he brings to him, he takes a cut, but then he's increasing Graham's income. Like I think everyone should have that if they're fortunate to make enough money or have whatever person.
Now we're trying to have Jack get a Jack, So basically infinite monetization loop of now just people.
Hey, let me bring out a good point, okay? And you guys will be able to relate to this, okay? If you spend so much time on mundane tasks, let's say calling the insurance company or setting this up or setting that up, right? That money costs you money, right? Your time is money. And so, for instance, there was an example yesterday, my main Apple Pencil stopped working. And so I was in a dilemma. I'm like, do I actually call Apple or do I just tell Chris to go buy a new one at Best Buy? I ended up calling Apple, and that took like 30 minutes out of my day. Now, what is my time worth 30 minutes over a $129 Apple Pencil? Was that really worth 30 minutes of my time? Many, many years ago, it might have been. But nowadays, like in all seriousness, like you really break this stuff down and you think about it and you're like, I just spent 30 minutes on
this is the kind of stuff I think about every day. I'm like, at what point do you hit that threshold where it's like, do I cook or do I like hire somebody? Or it's crazy. Yeah, the decisions have to be made, and I don't know at what point in like your yearly income do you have to start weighing those decisions out. Is there like an objective number here? I know it's relevant to the task, you can't be, but like just mundane everyday stuff, I would say like $200,000 to $300,000 a year of income. That's when you start to like,
oh no, I'd say it's over $1 million.
You think it's over $1 million?
Yeah, I do.
Gosh. I do think
depends.
But Jeremy, the same thing happened to me, and I'm like, well, I could hire somebody to go to a store, and that's going to take them an hour of their time. They're not able to do something else. Say you pay them, I don't know, $30 an hour or whatever, or 40, 50 bucks. I don't know what you pay them. I'm not going to ask either. But I could also just go on the Apple Store app, and in as little as 30 seconds, Apple Pay for a backup. So I always have another one. So that in the event one of my 3 Apple pencils break, I just got a backup.
Oh yeah, that's my point though. That's my point. So I'm like, should I just eat the $129 cost? The fact that I just bought the Apple Pencil a few months ago, right? And it's $129. It's not my fault. It's not working. And so I'm like, should I eat that cost? Yes. Or is it? Yeah, exactly. And that's, I think you guys can relate to that, but it's like, it's kind of frustrating though in those situations. Cause it's like,
that's a hard cost.
I just think of this as a skit, you know that song where it's like, dun, 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 dun. It's like, oh, Jeremy's Apple Pen just replaced the batteries, bro.
This ain't no jokers.
Yeah. Bro, all you have to do is replace the battery. You don't have to buy the whole thing.
Yeah, just imagine it was just that you just forgot to charge it.
Yeah.
No, and then let me tell you guys about another situation. So my Louis Vuitton suitcase breaks the other day, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just kidding.
You know what I'm gonna start to do in the next month is start a vlog. It's not gonna be a daily vlog. It's probably gonna be twice a week, but have someone just
4th channel.
Yeah, it is. Just have someone full-time who just vlogs, just normal stuff. Like, I'm not going to try to act. There's nothing scripted. It's just whatever happens. And that's another way. Just like, if I'm doing something, I may as well monetize it. If I'm coming up with the thumbnail, get the behind the scenes of it.
You're gonna like take your shirt off to go to the shower, ad. There's an ad right before it.
There's no way that I can't get 10 minutes of content twice a week just without doing anything special. That's what I think, twice a week.
Well, speaking of stories, I've got one of my own that's kind of crazy. That's finance related that happened to me last week that I actually wanted to share with you guys. So I have this friend, Ricky. Let's just call him Ricky. He texted me last week and he's like, hey, Andre, I haven't seen you in forever. This is my like close friend from middle school. So he texted me and he's like, hey, dude, I want to hang out with you. We haven't spoken in years, but like, I want to do a YouTube channel. Can I come over and just, like pick your brain? I was like, sure, come over. And so it comes, like it's 2 weeks pass, comes over, ring on the doorbell. Corey, my girlfriend, runs downstairs. She opens the door, closes it, runs back up, tells me, she's like, hey, Ricky's here. Is your friend Ricky a guy or a girl? I'm like, Ricky is a guy. That's the only Ricky I know. And she's like, well, there's a girl Ricky outside.
No.
I'm like, wait, what? My roommate's like, oh no, there's a gender change. And I'm like, maybe, I don't know. Well, maybe it is. And so I go downstairs, I open it, and I'm like, oh my God. It turns out it's this girl that I went on a Tinder date with 7 years ago. We went on one date. She was not into me at all. She just didn't care about me. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, can you please hold on like a minute? Because my brain's just like fried. I was expecting my friend Ricky from middle school. So I'm like, Corey, I'm gonna go to Starbucks. We're just gonna talk. She's gonna pick my brain. Anyway, so we go to Starbucks, and it's crazy because there was one thing that she told me on that date that I'll never forget. And I actually told her this. I'm like, you told me something I'll never forget. And she says to me, and I'm not making this up. It sounds like I'm making it up. She says, so I'm not really into you because right now I only want to date guys that drive Lamborghinis. I'm kind of in my gold digging phase.
Wait, look, I literally pulled just as you guys were saying this. I'm like, this is starting to sound like one of these pranks.
Yes. Yes.
Sorry, keep going.
Yeah. So I tell her this, and she's like, I never said that. So she still kept our texts from 7 years ago, and I find that text of me saying, that was like one of the last things I told her. I was like, hey, I enjoyed our date. I'm sorry I don't drive a Lamborghini, but like it's cool if you're into that. I just don't have one. Yeah. And how crazy that 7 years later she would show up at my house, just like coincidentally. Like, what are the odds? It was crazy.
Weird. Dude, how do you explain that? You're like, oh, Corey, so yeah, my old friend from Tinder's here.
No, I was super honest. Yeah, I was super honest. I was like, this girl from Tinder, she was not into me. I feel really bad. I don't want to leave her out there because I scheduled it with her like weeks ago. So I'm just going to go for an hour. Corey's like, yeah, totally go for it. So I go for like an hour. And it was very platonic because, like, you know, she just asked me questions. And I feel
like some people don't know what platonic means. So I think you can be really clear about that.
Non-romantic. It was very friendly, you know?
So, Lord wouldn't let me do that.
Really?
No one-on-ones with.
Wait, she just showed up at your place. My internet just cut out for a second, so she just showed up at your place unannounced, or you scheduled this with her?
I scheduled it with her, thinking it was my friend Ricky from middle school. I was like, "Hey, Ricky, come over to like my house." I didn't know it was a stranger. It was because her name is Ricky.
How do you make that?
Ricky's in your phone book.
How do you keep a conversation from 7 years ago? My messages delete after like I think a year.
I don't know. I go through her phone. Whoops. I go through her phone.
iPhone,
and I'm
you have
like,
to disable.
This is me saying
auto
that to you because she denied
delete.
telling me that. She's like, I never said that about the Lamborghini. I was like, it's right there. It's in the text. I just sent that. It was proof.
How do you have a conversation from that long ago? I don't have any conversations from like more than a year.
Well, because probably like cloud backups. I don't know. She could have upgraded her phone multiple times, but just synced her phone to the cloud. I don't know. I don't know.
Wow.
Magic.
I just wouldn't. I mean, at that point, I'd be like, oh, wait, wrong Ricky. Sorry. Like,
I feel so bad turning her away. She's like,
more than that. Give her $100. Give her $100. Think of Jeremy's the Apple Pen.
My ego would not let me do that. Let me give money to the girl that only is interested in me because of money.
You could plan a video in that time.
What?
You could plan a video.
What do you mean? Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're getting at. Sorry, it took me a while. That time is valuable. Yeah, I get it.
Have your assistant do this.
That was just like I could not believe that happened. This was last week, and I feel so embarrassed because she could see I was flustered. I was like all over the place. She's like, "What's wrong? You forgot, huh?" I'm like, "No, I didn't forget. I just never told her what it was." Mm-hmm. And I hope she's not watching this video. I don't think she is.
God, I don't know. I would be like, listen, miscommunication. I'm so sorry. Best of luck. Like that's.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I need to be better about that. I'm really empathetic towards people. I'm just like, oh God, I don't want to make you feel bad.
I don't know. I guess we're different. I don't know. I wouldn't.
No, I get it. I know, like Kevin wouldn't be allowed, and then Jeremy, what would you do?
Oh, me?
Kevin wouldn't be allowed.
I don't think I would have made the appointment.
I can't really speak on that. This is a family-friendly podcast. I can't really speak on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just need to turn people away.
Okay. Wow. Well,
on that note,
yeah.
How do we segue out of this one?
How about the market crash?
Andre, what did you guys talk about? Did you talk about the market crash?
There were a lot of ups and downs in the market. I don't know. Yeah, no, she literally had her laptop with her and she had bullet point questions to ask me about YouTube. And after like 45 minutes, I was like, hey, I'm so sorry. I don't really have much time to talk to you. I was like, I'll give you my class, my course teaching people on YouTube, like how to do YouTube. I just sent her a link to that and I just went home. But
that's more than $100 though, Andre. So you gave her more money than you really.
I gave her way more money. And she felt really bad. She's like, oh, I want to pay you. I was like, you don't have to pay me anything. It's fine.
You should have triple bundled it and given her yours, Graham's, and mine.
But like
I would
50% off maybe. With coupon code.
I can't afford it.
We could honestly come up with a bundle program of like all of ours in one place. That would do well. if we
Coupon
did.
code.
Yeah, coupon code of everything. Like you want to buy everything program. One thing, one website people go to.
Use coupon code Where's My Lambo.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, sorry to have killed the momentum of this conversation. I don't know how to say out of it.
This has gone such a weird place.
It's finance related. Okay? It's finance related.
Right.
I can solve it. I can solve it. Oh wait. Oh, I did. I took the wrong person out. There.
Hey Kevin, as Andre starts going off, just pull the plug.
God.
It was a good story, Andre. It took us in a weird direction on this one, man.
No, I think we can talk about it as far as like, like dating and finance and money and just like, do you guys ever get scared if you ever meet new people, new friends? Like, are you cautious about it? You're like, what do they know about me? So
I'll start this off. Let me start it off. Okay. I'm glad I'm already married because I would be super, thoughtful about like if somebody's just trying to get with me for the money nowadays. I mean, when my wife and I started dating, I probably had like a $30,000 net worth ish. That was when I was like 21. I think we started dating, or 22. And so, it wasn't really about like, the money, but nowadays I'm like, shoot, obviously you don't have to do that much research to kind of know at least a little bit about my financial background. Right. And so now I'm like, oh man, it'd be in my mind if I was like dating and I was like,
What about friends though? Like if you meet new people, are you kind of like protective, a little bit cautious, or?
Same problem.
I don't have friends, so it doesn't really matter for me. We'll go next.
Stop.
Right, Jeremy? What are
All right,
friends?
then we're kicking you out.
No, I meant real friends. I mean, friends, that I'm not using for followers. I mean, no, never mind. I'm sorry, guys.
That's awesome. This is the kind of honesty.
No, I mean, have you guys, Miranda Sings, Colleen Ballinger, you guys maybe don't know. Anyway, it's regularly seen, like a boyfriend at the time, I don't think they ever got married. Anyway, one of the OG YouTubers has a boyfriend, has his own channel. Everyone loves him. Everyone's doing collabs with him. As soon as they break up, she's got multi-million subs, probably 10 mil or whatever now. As soon as they break up, nobody wants to hang out with the dude anymore. Nobody cares about the dude. It's just like straight up canceled because that connection's not there anymore. And I think that's a very legitimate concern. Yeah.
It's messed up.
So when you meet new people, Kevin, are you kind of cautious about friends or are you pretty open?
I just the only people I meet are the spam bots in the comments section right now.
We got the vlog. We got the vlog coming up here.
Is this infinite monetization loop going on here? What's going on?
So not only are we monetizing this, but on the back end, I'm monetizing myself monetizing this.
Graham, can you give us an ad break?
Yeah, so Graham,
right here, yeah.
Graham, I think you're the only one of the group who has dated when they already had substantial net worth, because Kevin and me, we got hooked up, you could say, really young, and then Andre was already with his girlfriend before he like kind of blew up, right? So you're the only one who's really gone through it where you already had a big brand and name and a lot of money and you were dating, let's put it that way. And so what's your thoughts on this?
I've never had any. I'm too cheap. It's like I'm not going to attract anyone who wants me to spend a whole bunch of money. So it's like that weeds almost everybody out. And for Macy too, it's just like we'll split happy hour nachos, and she's like super independent with so many things, and like she feels awkward if I go and like pay. Like she's really like no, I want to get half. So like, and even before, like I've never had an issue with it. Same with friendships. I've just never. I don't know if I'm just oblivious to it, but it's never been an issue. I've never questioned it. I've met really cool people. It's never been a factor, but that could also be because I'm not like, every weekend going like maybe I'll do like all you can eat sushi for $20. Like that's the extent. So I feel like it might be an issue if you're out there flaunting it and spending a whole bunch of money and people want to be around you because of the perks. The only perks you get with me is that honestly, like I'll make you coffee when you come over. That's about it. So
yeah,
you got to take your shoes off when you come inside.
And pick up after yourself after the party ends. You're like, oh, just pick up all the boxes, pick up all the drinks, throw them away.
No, because listen,
we're like, what?
I hate cleaning up. And listen, if there are like 5 people who are over, we got to leave. I'm just everyone pick up a piece of trash. Let's throw it out. Like in elementary school when it was like, you got to pick up 2 pieces of trash.
Yes.
I do the same thing. Everyone's fine with it. If we have leftovers, it can't fit in the fridge. Someone's walking away with like a donut or something like that. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm pretty boring like that too. But I think I'm a little bit more naive because I don't feel like my life has changed. And because of the pandemic, I've just been so sheltered. I don't feel any different. And like, I'm a little bit more naive and just like open, maybe more than I should be.
I don't know. I think you're overthinking it. I've never had an issue. Everyone I've met is so nice.
Yeah, same. Other than that one time.
So.
What about, did any of you guys listen to some of the stuff Ross Gerber had to say yesterday on my channel?
Smooth transition. I like it.
No. Okay. It was crazy. Like some of the, so he's like an investment advisor. I think they got like 1.8 bill under management or something like that. And the amount of ripping on Robinhood was insane. Ooh. He basically thinks Robinhood's going to go belly up and bankrupt, that Vlad is a liar and is cheating people, and that the way they make so much money is by incentivizing options and giving you fireworks, and options have such a massive bid-ask spread. It's no surprise Robinhood makes all this money with payment for order flow. And I mean, he's very opinionated about some of his things, but the Robinhood thing was, oh my gosh, he went off on Robinhood. Wow.
I wish I could comment more about it, but I feel like if I did, it'd be like speculation because I'm not like an industry insider. I don't, work with Citadel, or like I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. But what?
A field trip.
Ooh.
Behind the scenes as Millennial Money, going behind the scenes of where your money goes when you put an order in on Robinhood. Cool. And we have to go to every, but the money now went to Citadel. Now it went over here.
Well, actually, speaking of ideas, I'd love to hear in the comment section because I want to have guests on. I'd love to have people like Michael Saylor on, or like people in the, hedge fund managers, people that we can actually talk to. I'd love to have that, just interview them and ask them about stuff like this. Sure. If there's anyone in the audience who's commenting to tell us, like, is there any recommendations or anything we can do?
You could have Graham on.
I would go on. I would do that.
Thank you.
There you go. See, look at that. Episode number 1.
The most ambitious crossover ever.
That's awesome. Okay, so are you guys worried about the stock market at all? Like any of you all tempted to sell in the last couple weeks?
No, it's just the market doing what it does best, right? It's market goes up, market goes down. That's what it does. I don't treat like 3 to 5% drops as like anything to freak out over. It's just doing what it does. I don't want to like look too into it and be like, oh, it's because interest rates or this or that. Like either way, it's not going to dictate my philosophy or my actions. It's good to understand, but I don't think it's good to let it lead your investing decisions. But
Right.
yeah,
I like that. What about you, Kevin? What are you doing? Are you how heavy margin are you? We haven't heard a lot from you as far as the whole market goes. What's going on with you? We got to get an update on your situation.
Yeah, basically every time the market drops, I kind of just get this motivation to like try to make even more videos to finance all of the margin. No, I mean, look, obviously I love shopping when it's red. It's tough though because I don't want to keep going in margin, so I just wait. Like, okay, cool. Like, when do I get paid again? And then you go shopping, and it's gone. You know, and then when it's gone, it's kind of like, crap. Like, oh, there's Andre. It's like, crap. I need to get some more money. So it actually. Staying in margin is probably one of the most motivating things you can do because you don't take a day off because you can't.
Are you holding on to your Rocket mortgage stock?
What?
Are you holding on to Rocket mortgage?
Yeah, so I actually have a lot of my OG stocks, Rocket's one of them, tied up in JP Morgan. I can't sell it because the way it works is when I collateralize my money at JPM, they freeze that account I have. So I have a couple of accounts that are frozen with them, and it would probably, because it's all part of the collateral, so they don't want me selling and moving any money around. It's not like as convenient of margin as like Webull or whatever. And so they actually freeze those accounts. So I can't even sell my Rocket mortgage holding if I wanted to. In some sense, I actually kind of don't mind that. Like, fine, just let that ride for, 30 years. All right. It's actually not a horrible thing that I can't trade that. Especially since it's the biggest part of my investments. But I do have some Rocket options that if this thing goes nuts, which it kind of already has today, but there's this potential that it, because the short interest like even went up today, there's this potential that it could go up higher in the next couple days. And we see even more of a squeeze. I don't think we're going to see like a GameStop squeeze, but if this thing goes to like $60 or something like that, I'll probably make a few phone calls and see if I can at least unlock that money and sell it. Cause I think it'll probably stabilize at 30.
Rocket is the only stock where if that goes up substantially more than it is, I would sell it because I bought in thinking, okay, in the long term, maybe it's going to be $30. That was my long term. If it goes up to 60, 70, I don't think fundamentally that stock could support those prices. And there's no reason, and I'm so against selling, but it's like, how do you would be, I don't know. But then again, I would owe taxes on that. So
yeah.
Well, that's the downside. So for example, like CCAV, it's like, I got asked a lot, like, Kevin, why didn't you just sell it at $60? And the thought crossed my mind. The thought totally crossed my mind. But I'm looking at it like, okay, if I sell with $1 million gain, I'm going to have to pay like $550,000 of that next year. That becomes an instant liability for me next year. Now I'm carrying a $500,000 liability that I have to plan for next year on top of my margin as a liability. And the last thing I want is like this horrible convergence to happen where the market crashes at the same time I'm high on margin, at the same time I get a big fat tax bill. That is a bad month.
Yeah.
So Kevin, in regards to Rocket, by the way, I think we just hit 7,000 live viewers. So share this out to your family and friends. We got to hit 8,000. We hit 8,000 live viewers. We got a new record. So share this, smash a thumbs up, do whatever you can. We got to get to 8,000. Okay. But anyways,
Jeremy.
we're pumping. This ain't no pump and dump. We're just pumping. Okay?
We're just pumping.
Before we end it, as soon as we hit 8, just the stream cuts off.
No, but Kevin, so is Rocket an 8-figure or 9-figure position for you? I'm just trying to figure out sizing wise.
Oh, no. 8-figure and 9-figure.
9-figure. That's awesome. He's got 100 mil.
No. It's under 500K and it's more than 100K. I don't know exactly what it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah. So it's definitely not one of your highest conviction plays then, right?
I bought it around 23 thinking it was a $30 stock.
One moment. Okay, let's hop back into it.
I didn't buy it thinking like, oh, this is going to be a 2-3xer. Obviously, the short squeeze, I think, is a very unique opportunity because it's aligning with, it's really coming on the heels of this this whole GameStop thing, right? So this is more popular now, where people are literally buying the stock because it's highly shorted. So it's very not real, in my opinion, what's happening with Rocket, and even to some extent GameStop. And don't get me wrong, like I love GameStop, but the extremeness that we're getting is a little much. It's so, you couldn't have predicted that 6 months ago when I bought the thing. So that's why, it is one of those where I'm kind of like, I kind of would want to sell that. Whereas like a CCIV, a Lucid, I think people have the Nikola fears of that one, that, oh my God, we're going to get Nikola'd, right? And I think they're going to start test driving their vehicles with reporters and that within the next month, maybe even like 3 weeks. That's going to be a game changer when people actually see this vehicle driving. Maybe we won't get to see the autonomy yet because I think they're going to want to partner with somebody on that. But I think that's going to be a huge catalyst for the stock, and that enthusiasm will come back because they're next. Nobody's close. They're the next ones to start selling a car, unless you want to go to the Chinese automotives, right? It's not Fisker. Fisker's 2 years away. Lucid's like, no, this year we're going to start rolling them off. Now, who knows? It could get delayed again, just like the Tesla Roadster can get delayed for like
Dyson's
the 17th
EV?
time. No.
So you're saying buy Nikola?
Instructions unclear.
I bought Nikola.
What?
Are you buying more Neo?
I did buy more Neo. So my rule of thumb for Neo has been buying it ideally under 45. And so I bought, 46 was pretty close. So I bought a bit. I think it was at 46. I bought an option when it was like 44.80. It's at like 43 something right now. Like today, it got hammered after.
13%. Jesus.
Yeah. No, it got destroyed after earnings. I don't personally care because it's not a trade. To me, it's like, oh, I could load up on this thing more. It's sold off because people are like, oh, the growth in your growth rate in manufacturing vehicles isn't as fast as we want it to be. Along with, at the same time, all of this uncertainty in the marketplace already around energy. Energy just got destroyed today. EV, and it got destroyed. Energy got destroyed. Cannabis was actually green today. But it's really weird how these things fall in and out of favor. And it really, like Andre earlier, you were like, I don't sweat the 2 to 3% fluctuations. And I'm like, aren't you lucky?
Yeah, because for you, what would it be? What would happen if you got called on Tesla? How much would it have to go down to get your margin called?
Oh, yeah, I think for me to get margin called, we'd probably have to see like Tesla 200. I don't think so. Wow. Yeah, I don't think so. So okay. I got plenty of room. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
But do you? So 2 questions. Do you publicly disclose how many Tesla shares you own? And then in regards to Rocket, I would love to hear yours and Graham's perspective on this. Specifically because Rocket makes, I assume, so much money from mortgages and refinancing. And I feel like almost everybody has refinanced or maybe will over the next few months. And then I'm like, isn't that going to hurt their business? So.
Yeah. Really good question. I can pull up for you my Tesla shares, but it'll take a minute. So I'll circle back on that. It's like Jen Psaki. I'll circle back to you. I don't know. Sorry, political.
I do think that's a consideration. That's a consideration, but I do think mortgages aren't going anywhere. There's always going to be some level of demand. And if interest rates start going up, a lot of people are going to want to rush in.
Yeah. So, and then my thought on that, I don't think you're wrong about that.
I'm sorry.
What? Oh, you're fine. So I don't think you're wrong about that, Graham. I think when it comes to Rocket, it's not a short play. It's you're betting on millennials becoming the primary mortgagees, people receiving mortgages, because the boomers, to be simple here, aren't using Rocket Mortgage, I don't think, like millennials will. And so we need millennials to build wealth, and then they can finance that wealth or extrapolate that wealth, certainly in real estate, with Rocket Mortgage. And people are going to fall in love with this. I mean, in the future, you won't even have to do anything anymore. I think you'll just click a button on Rocket Mortgage and go refinance my home, and these will be like linked up. I mean, it's already linked up to your bank account, so they already see your income and expenses. In the future, you'll be able to link your electronic tax return to these things. Like, it's a millennial game changer. It's a long play.
Wait, let me just interrupt real quick. Does that change the game for real estate agents?
No, for mortgage
Really?
brokers,
You think
it does, though.
You think that real estate agents will still be as relevant in that world where we can just click and buy a house online?
Well, I don't think you're ever going to click and buy a house online. You know, I mean, maybe investors, but people are very fearful of real estate. People are god awful fearful of real estate because it's like, oh my God, like there's stuff in the walls. Well, what's in there? You know, and unless you have like a construction background, real estate is very, very fearful for people, or people are fearful of it. I think mortgage brokers have huge headwinds. That is an industry I'd be a little bit more nervous of as when disruptors come in, like mortgage brokers, where I could refinance or get a loan for my house with the push of a button. Real estate agents, they might in the future not be paid on commission. In the future, maybe you're a real estate consultant, but there will always be work for very good real estate agents.
Gosh, I think that still changing the fee structure for them really does change a lot in the industry. If you go to like a flat fee or whatever it is, those percentages, everything.
You can make a lot of money as an agent right now. Yeah, and sometimes it feels disproportionate. But you know, hey, I mean, most real estate agents, I think the average income for a real estate agent is like $50K nationally. And if you think about it, that's actually less than the average actual income in the United States. So, you know, sometimes it's easy to look at like the top dogs in a space and like, oh, look at them just printing money, taking their 6%. But it's a surprisingly difficult industry.
Like, here's the thing: a lot of agents are part-time.
Yes, true.
Yeah,
which I think is a big mistake. I think part-time real estate is something, in my opinion, that's very, very difficult to do part-time. It can be done, but it's like you got to be on it, man. A deal comes on the market, you got to be on the phone with people like this, you know. And when you're that agent, people bring you deals, and then you're like, oh, sweet, you want to sell that? I already got someone for that. You know, there's a lot of power in that, and that's why like the rich real estate agents, or I should say the top producer real estate agents, that's why they keep winning, man. That's because they're all in on it. But yeah, you're right. Real estate is one of those things where there are a lot of people like, I'm just gonna get my real estate license and sell a house to my family on the weekend or something. Sure,
I ran across a lot of those back when I had my real estate marketing company. It was like, you know, oh my gosh, some of them were just so lazy, and then like some of them, you know, I even had a few that was like, you know, for like $100 photo job, they were like, oh, can I pay you in a couple of weeks, you know, type thing.
Oh,
like, come on, man. Like, you know, like, okay, you know, I've always had money, but it's just kind of like, still like, you want to get paid for your job. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, definitely. But you can see it, like the top ones, like the top 1% are, you know, infinitely more tied into everything that's going on than like the bottom, you know, 70% of realtors. It's just bottom line. It's crazy.
Right.
Okay, 13,130. About. I have some options too. I didn't count those.
13,000 shares.
13,000 shares.
Yeah.
Wow.
It dropped under 10 in the last crash here, so it's kind of depressing.
When did it drop?
I didn't count those. It dropped under 10 mil, like what, a week or two ago when the price is so tough.
I thought you said it dropped. You dropped under 10,000 shares.
Oh no, yeah, no, 13. No, I didn't sell any. 13,130, and I just keep buying a little bit, you know, 100 there, whatever.
Okay.
Wow. I just calculated real quick. It's 9 million. No big deal. Crazy. Yeah. That's awesome.
All debt.
9 million.
Yeah.
9 million Tesla.
See, I believe in an economic system in which we all could share that amount of shares with each other. So we just divide that in 4 amongst us.
Yeah, come on, Kevin, share the love.
I think Jeremy's running for mayor of New York. Universal basic shares.
Oh my God! Let's not get political and get demonetized, Kevin. Okay.
Oh, did you see that on my story about Trump?
Oh.
Yeah. No, it's. You're right.
It's called T word. If you're gonna mention T word, you got to come up with acronyms for everything. That's why I call the MJ stuff. I call it Jack Jackson. People are like, "What's Jack
Yeah,
Jackson?"
well, I don't know why, man. Like I say it all the time, and I don't have issues with that.
I
Have you
literally
gotten-
titled my video like the W word. I was like, W word to the moon,
You went
Yeah.
up.
and it did good.
Yeah.
What-
Okay.
Jeremy, what, did you have a bad experience or what?
Yeah, several years ago, I used the W word to be exact. And when I used the W word, that video would not show up on anybody's homepage. It wouldn't get recommended. You had to actually go to my channel to see it. And so that's freaked me out ever since. So that's why I don't try to even use any term in relation to that space, and I just make up little words around it.
Well, yeah, see, your problem was you didn't make enough videos on it. You should have just made 20 videos, and like 19 would have showed up.
And maybe it was different back then, because this is probably like 3 years ago I did that video. So it might just be, nowadays they're like, oh, who cares?
Well, remember how YouTube went through that phase where even Bitcoin was just shunned? It was not a word that it liked, and now it's just everywhere. I mean, even Susan Wojcicki, she like had it in her video. She's like, "Oh, I use YouTube to learn about cooking and this, and learning about Bitcoin." I'm like, "That's awesome."
Sorry, guys, my Wi-Fi cut out for a second. Are we talking about the stuff? The
Yeah.
stuff.
Jack Jackson.
13?
Yeah, we're talking about Jack Jackson. Very well.
All right.
Banned words.
Yeah.
Hey, so let's talk about this. What are two things you guys you have to splurge on, even if you're cheap? So I'll give you an example to start it off. Mine is internet, and the second thing is food. Those two things are limitless money-wise with me, and I'm just have weaknesses there. I'll sign up for the best internet possible, and I'll also like eat at like super expensive restaurants. Those are my two things that get me. But like, what are your guys's?
I know for Kevin, it's stocks and investing.
No. You're not.
Okay, it has to be consumer-ish goods, sort of, right? Okay, that's fair.
Options.
I don't know options.
Kevin, what consumers
Margin.
buy options?
I take all the butter. No, for me it's camera gear. I will drop stupid amounts of money on cameras and lenses and computers because I love creating as a content creator. I love the aspect of learning about, new techniques and new things. That's just something I've always been passionate about. And the second thing is I want to say it to a fault, probably, if I had a house, just making it the way I want it to be, like a perfect, like upgrading it and making it cool, things like that.
So not like furniture, more like the actual
Yes, furniture, yes, all of that, yes.
Okay.
Oh, you guys are making me cringe.
Why?
Kevin's
Right,
like,
so-
use the cheapest paint, use this.
Look, it's not like, look, there's slumlord, then there's rental grade, and then there's like moon, right? I'm like rental grade plus a little, maybe, right? I hate furniture. I can't stand spending money on real estate. And honestly, like, I don't know. I just like it burns when my dad, like, I bought a place for my dad, and he's like, Kevin, I really want to use this hood for the stove, but it's $50 more than the one you usually get. I'm like, God dang it. Like, I hate spending money
You
on
penny
real estate
pinched
because
$50.
the stuff, it all breaks. You buy the expensive $10,000 Sub-Zero fridge, it breaks at some point. I'd rather buy the $1,000 or the $800 fridge and just replace it if I need to in 5 years. People are like, Kevin, I got to get the home warranty plans. Look, when I buy 20 stoves in a year, I'm buying the $499 stove, and if it breaks, we'll get a new one.
Right.
Lauren's like, I can't wait for our stove to break, the one we have. And I'm like, I can. Because she wants a different one. And I'm like, we're going to get a cheap one.
I can see that for investment properties, but like for the house you live in, I think it's okay to splurge a little bit. I'm not saying go all out and buy a $20,000 stove.
Look, the problem is I went down that road. I put crown molding in. I did a lot of the stuff myself. I upgraded things to smart switches, and all it did, all of the work that I did, all it ever did for me was provide more headache, because it's like, oh, well, I just did that and now somebody stained it or damaged it and then it ruins my day. When it's cheap, I don't care if the kids destroy it. I don't have
That's
to
fair.
worry about it.
That's
I don't know.
fair.
So my take on it, and I'm like, I don't know. That's just my take on real estate.
No,
Okay.
that's fair.
So-
I think that's probably a phase we go through, and then once we get over it, we're like, okay, cool, I'm done with that.
I can't handle it. Oh, thank you for that. So
Yeah.
okay, what do I spend money on? The studio, like gear stuff. I'm right there with you, man. Okay, the doors to this room are about $14,000, right? And it's just the
They're like thick
doors.
doors.
Yeah, I mean, you could not shoot bullets through these
Yeah,
because it's
Andre.
2 doors.
Wow.
Because I can't have the kids screaming and then that comes through the audio, right? So like that, the camera gear, I'm right there with you, Jeremy. I'll spend anything on camera gear, but probably the biggest one I like is experiences. Like if I go on a cruise, like I'm so grateful for this. We went on a Disney cruise right before the pandemic. Like we're on the cruise, seeing on the news coronavirus outbreak in China. We're like, it's probably not gonna be good for cruise ships, you know.
Right.
And that was in January, which is so weird. Like I wish at that point I'm like I should short cruise ship stocks, right? But
Yeah.
you know, all of our
You were
recent
kinda
memory,
making
I feel
videos
like, is
about
like,
that.
oh well, it's gonna be like another swine flu or something like
Yeah.
that. It's just gonna be here today, gone tomorrow, right? Hindsight's always 2020. But that Disney cruise, where they have like these 2 places where you can drop off your kids, and we only did this sometimes because we like hanging out with our kids too. But they will literally. They have these massive like play areas in the cruise ship where your kids are like locked into these massive like jungle gyms and play areas and everything, and you spend a crap ton of money having your kids there. It's probably like I don't know, I don't know exactly what it is. It's probably like $50 an hour or something like that to have your kid in these things. Like it's really expensive. The cruise, I think in total, our trip probably this 10-day cruise probably cost us like 25 grand or something like that, and that is something where. I am so looking back now, being locked in for a year here. I'm so grateful I spent that money, but we just splurged on like everything. It's like, give us the 2-bedroom suite at the Animal Kingdom where the giraffes at our window, and you know, give us the most executive suite you got in the cruise ship. Like that's a problem.
That's cool. No, I get that though. I like experiences too. I feel like with YouTube, at my schedule, and I don't know I don't know Kevin's schedule. I don't get Kevin, but with YouTube, I feel like I can't travel. I'm always like, like, oh, I got to post. I got to be on the schedule. So when I'm done with it, I think my next step is going to be experiences. Like that's for sure.
Kevin and I did a Segway tour in DC. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
That was so much
man.
fun. I was trying to find a picture of you and I that we did that, but we did a Segway tour. It was so much fun.
Dude, I gotta pull that up too. So are you going down the experiences road?
Me?
I remember them posting that
Yeah.
video.
No.
What's your splurge?
I bought the piano, and the
Oh.
Reef Aquarium is going to be a big one. So
I mean, that's pretty cool though.
And the
Yeah,
Reef Aquarium.
Yeah, that's been the only thing I think in my entire life that I've really just been. It makes no financial sense at all. That's the only thing I really did for myself.
That's pretty
Like
cool. Though.
without thinking of like, oh, I can make the money back. Here are the numbers. Even the car, man. I mean, the car was about the numbers at the end. Like it made sense. The fish tank is purely just an expense.
Let's not go down the car rabbit hole again.
Yeah,
No.
the fish tank is the only thing for me, and I think the total is gonna be like 40 grand to do this fish tank.
Wow,
It's
the
like
fish tank, holy crap.
For a
305
fish tank.
gallons, stated like everything is going to be perfect. It's like there we go. That's it. That's it.
I
That
think
was-
I discovered you guys around that time. That I think that was 2019 and 2019.
yeah, I think
That's
so.
when we found you guys' channels. I think. What
Yeah,
was that
yeah.
for? FinCon or what was that?
Yeah, FinCon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was awesome
That was
photos.
fun.
Yeah, I have a real appreciation for like people that really work hard on something. And so like I love like seeing like for instance like the Win Encore, not to shout out one of my stocks, but like I love the level of detail that is in that property. There's no expense spared. Like I even noticed like very small stuff. So on the Win side, which was built in 2005-6, was open, the walls are like a nice texture. Oh, that's a funny picture. But then if you go to the Encore side and you feel the walls at the Encore, it's like a material and it's like so crazy. Like I just like I have like an affection for like people that work really hard and spend like, you know, a lot of time like thinking about the details, or like a musician who's like on the top of their game. Every single little detail in that song is thought through a time and time again, and the engineer plays with it. And like I love people that just work hard and like appreciate that. Like, you know, like a 5-star resort, you know, like you go there and like you expect everything to be perfect. And then if there's like a little smudge in the glass, you're like, dang, man, this place fell off. Like they got a smudge in the glass. You go to Holiday Inn and it's like, whatever, you know? So I just love like appreciating people that work.
So does that mean you buy art, Jeremy? Like, do you appreciate art, like expensive art, or?
That is something I have never been able to get into. I mean, I don't know. There's something about art.
That sounds like kind of the same concept. If like an artist painstakingly goes over every detail, does that?
Yeah, not really, but something recent I've gotten a little bit into, and it's because of Graham, is actually appreciation for watches. Like, you know, a lot of the, you know, the high-end watchmakers, like how detailed they are with their little hands and the little, I mean, it's amazing. Like that's like, you know, just crazy. So there are certain things that it's just like, it's amazing. Like humans had to work really hard to do this thing here. So
a good watch.
Is that what you're splurging on?
What's that?
Sorry.
I
was just saying, is that what you're splurging on, watches? Or
yeah,
what's your big
and it's all
splurge?
Graham's fault. Yeah, I was even looking today at this watch place in Scottsdale, and I was like, oh, when can I find time this week to maybe go by here and maybe look at a few different watches? I blame Graham for that.
Watches are great. They're not going to go down in value. You buy the right watches. Same thing as cash. Same thing as the car. The watch I really want right now is a Patek Philippe Calatrava. In my opinion, it's one of the most undervalued watches out there. It's a Patek Philippe that you could buy under $20,000. And I think people are sleeping on this watch. I really do. It's a simple watch. It's a nice dress watch. Not too complicated. It's classic.
I do not endorse this investment. For normal people, just drop 20 grand on a watch. What is it called? The Patek what?
Patek Philippe.
They'd probably get a
Calatrava.
Rolex for 20 grand.
You
Oh,
just
there we go.
raise
I
10,000
forget
a
the
watch.
exact reference number that I wanted. I forget. It's like a 51. I forget.
Graham, I gotta ask you, okay? Like, I don't get this this buy it because it doesn't go down in value thing. I don't want to buy something because it's not going to go down in value. I want to buy something that is going to go up in value, like some more Tesla attendees. And so maybe I'm missing something, but and I want to know, but like I don't know, watches. You know, I got the Apple Watch, but I can't bring myself to it. Art, I can't figure it out. You know, these. I don't know. Like again, like with Andre at equipment. Yeah. What's that?
You're
Aquarium.
a utilitarian. I'm saying you're a utilitarian.
Aquarium, yeah.
The aquarium, I would have to have somebody come maintain it for me to want that. I'm sure I would hope that you're going to do that, especially if you're going to do saltwater. That sounds like a pain in the butt. Otherwise, that'd be too stressful.
It's a hobby.
You're going to do it? Oh,
yeah. Okay. It's a full-on hobby. People get really into aquariums. There's all the forums online, people doing this, and we chat back and forth about like whose coral like had this coloration. Really interesting stuff.
Dude, I don't know why this just popped in my mind. You guys ever seen the movie Deuce Bigelow when he like is on the thing and then he breaks the aquarium? He like grabs.
Yeah. That was an awesome scene. Yeah.
Let's hope that doesn't happen with you.
Getting the sea snails to the bottom of the tank.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Yeah, no, I'm a little bit more aligned with Kevin, I think, as far as like ownership of stuff. Like it's cool. I don't know if I need to own it in my life to feel like I can appreciate it. Like I love fancy watches, I love fancy cars, but I don't have that. I don't know if I want to call it a hang up because that sounds condescending. I don't think it's a hang up. People like appreciate things. But it's like I don't feel the need to own that thing to feel like wow, that's so cool that exists.
You know what I would love? I would love to literally just be able to make my YouTube videos, but literally own nothing. Like if I could just like take my entire house and just like shake it out somewhere into like the Salvation Army donation.
I want it, Kevin.
But for some reason I could still come here and just have my set and just like there's something here that films me. I'd be so freaking happy because I'll tell you, you walk out these doors, and there are toys I'm stepping on. There's there are boxes that are coming from Amazon, and there's stuff to put away, and then you go in the kitchen and there's stuff to clean, and they're like, and this is just normal household stuff. We're not messy by any means. The point is just like there's so much stuff. You go in the garage, there's stuff on storage shelves. You open a closet, like there's stuff. You go in the attic, there's stuff. And I'm like, I don't want all this crap. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I think not owning like nothing is just really freeing. But then we're getting into like the minimalism talk. Yeah, which I love too. I don't want to own anything either at the end of the day, which is maybe why I've held off on owning real estate for a long time. Is like I just feel like ownership is just a pain in the butt, and then I have to take care of it myself. That's more headaches, which is why I don't own a car. It's like if I could rent it, if I could just, that I'm happy with that.
I like that. If they had robo-taxis today, would you just robo-taxi around?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, why own a car?
Yeah, I would not.
Well, what are you gonna do with like all the hidden guns you have?
What?
No, because a lot of people have guns hidden in their cars, and if you go to robo-taxis, you can't hide stuff anymore.
I don't own what? I've never owned a single gun in my life.
Yeah.
What? Kevin, what do you have in there? RPGs?
What do you think the frunk is for?
Yeah, right. He's like, I'm not playing video games.
What, you thought Rust was a game?
They're a revolutionary group, bro. Yeah.
Andre, have you bought an expensive watch yet, or not yet?
No, I haven't. The most expensive watch I own was one that my mom gave me for my high school graduation present, which was a Movado for $1,000.
Okay.
Everything else that I own, like this watch, which everyone keeps commenting in all of my videos, and I don't know how many times I can respond to those comments saying it is not real, because it's not. And if anybody asks me, I always tell them it's not real. But this is my favorite watch brand, and I wish this didn't have this name because I don't like replicating the brand names. But this is an Astronomia, which is like the real thing. It's like planets, and it's like a diamond, and it spins. And like this whole thing rotates. It's such a cool, pretty watch. But this is a Jacob & Co. Astronomia, which is not real. The real version of this watch costs $1 million.
I've seen that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
yeah. It's amazing.
If I could have a real watch, if I was to splurge, I don't have it here.
It's us, Andre.
Sorry, it's
all right, baby.
A real watch. So I was just looking for it. Is the AP.
What if he does this and there's just no pants?
Hey, I have pants.
I was just looking for it.
Well, what's that?
So yeah, the real watch I'd like to buy, which I'm never going to because I'm not going to drop 20 grand on a watch, is the Royal Oak AP. That watch is super cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know you spent a bunch of money on I don't know what brand it was though, Jeremy.
Yeah, I bought a Frank Mueller, which is like,
yeah.
I don't like that, but like it's going to depreciate, and I have a similar stance to you, Andre, as far as like if you're gonna buy a stupid expensive watch, who cares if it goes up or down or stays the same? Like, I feel like if you're worrying about that, you shouldn't be like buying that thing. And same thing with cars, like I'm buying, the Model S Plaid or whatever, not because it's going to stay, in value or whatever. It's because it's like it's something I
want to enjoy it. Yeah,
exactly. It's like, you only live once, right? So I'm
not going to lie. I'm so like, I want one too. I want a Plaid something. I don't know. I toured the Model S P1, like not P100D, but the performance model, the 2020, fastest one Tesla makes. And I let my dad drive it. I let my friends drive it. It doesn't get old. It's like a roller coaster on tap. It's just so fun. It's, yeah. So I really want either the Plaid S or the Roadster.
Okay. Dude, you should do it. You should absolutely do it.
The Roadster or the Plaid S?
I think you should do it. Oh, it depends. I mean, the Roadster, you never know. It could be coming in like 10 years. So
Yeah.
I never hear them talk about the Model 3.
At least do the Model S, or then if you cheap out, just buy my Model 3 Performance Edition, and you can have that.
That thing is so fast, dude. That almost made me sick the first time I rode in it.
Yeah. I know it's like a rocket ship, little rocket ship. I can only imagine what the S is going to feel like. The Plaid edition. That's going to be like.
Yeah.
You guys
just pass out.
spending money on butter. Butter melts. It just goes down in value. Let's talk about this question on screen here about what's another sector that will be a disruptor.
I think happiness is expensive. You should rent everything. Rent happiness. That's like Kevin. Wait, who was saying that? He was either Kevin O'Leary or who's the other guy? Yeah, one of the two. He's just like everything. Rent everything. Rent friends. Friends are expensive. Rent friends. Just everything's rented.
Oh, hey.
I don't know. What do you guys think, Jeremy? Is it marijuana or what is it? I mean, W.
Yeah, Jack Jackson stocks. Obviously, they want something other than EVs. So yeah, I mean, the Jack Jackson space, plant-based foods. That's going to be something that continues to roar. Yeah, those are two big industries I'm thinking of. So
my bet is the financial industry. That's what I'm getting. That's what I think is being disrupted next.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Wait. But via crypto or some service?
Both, a hybrid.
Okay.
A crypto service.
Yeah, I think fintech and I think banks. I think a lot of banks are going to be changed up, and I can't see Bank of America's and Wells Fargo's staying as they are for the next 10 years. I just think they're so outdated, and there's so many things that could just be changed with the app.
They're either going to merge and join teams, or they're going to go away.
Yeah. Yada Bank is
a
about
good chance
to
of
take
that.
over.
Sorry?
Yada Bank.
I gotta plug my company. It's awesome.
Link down below.
Oh, God.
I don't know though. Like, I do think Jamie Dimon's not going to let JP Morgan Chase die. No freaking way. They will come up with their own stable coin. They'll have their own, boomer crypto services. And I bet at some point they'll actually be pretty dang good. And I hate to say it, but I'd rather have my, if JPM had a Bitcoin wallet and they'd be willing to store my stuff for me. I don't know. I kind of feel like I'd rather them have it than
my two winning bank like stocks that I think will, and I'm not saying this is investment advice, but I think the two banks that will be on the cutting edge of like trying to evolve and keep up with this is JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs. Those are going to be probably the two big ones that will probably evolve with the revolution.
Why'd you pick Goldman? Because of the Apple Card, or why?
No, they've been getting into crypto and they've been talking about it. They've been onboarding a long time ago. They've seen it coming a long time ago before everybody else did. Yeah. So I'm not saying other banks won't keep up. I'm not saying Wells Fargo can't innovate or Citibank or whatever, but I think at least JP Morgan is one of them for sure. And then Goldman Sachs is the other.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So
hey
fintech.
I gotta get going. Dinner waiting.
No problem. Okay, it's dinner time, everybody. Well, there we have it. Make sure to subscribe, smash the like buttons, follow us on Instagram and something else, because we post there pretty much daily, and check out, well, we don't really have links down below, so yeah.
Subscribe. That's the only thing we ask you to do here is subscribe, hit the like button, and share it with all of your friends, your family, strangers. Go up to someone on the street and be like, hey, do you subscribe to Millennial Money yet? Why not? Go and subscribe.
Graham did that. Graham, do you remember Thousand Oaks Subway? Just this random girl, and I'm buying avocado. You're like, no way, I'm not getting avocado on my Subway. This random girl's at the corner of the Subway, and you're like, oh, well, you got to check out my YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe too. Yeah, hit that button there. And you hovered over her until she actually pressed the button, like she was hesitating on.
I don't remember this.
I'll never forget.
I can see that.
I don't
remember. It was the day
that
we were filming my the Newbury Park renovation, and you told me put a window in this bathroom. And we went to Subway over there in like Newbury Park or something.
I don't remember, man. I don't remember. I remember filming the video. I don't remember anything else after that. My memory is.
That sounds like something Graham would do.
It sounds like I would do that, but I don't remember that. But it sounds.
I won't forget.
She didn't subscribe, and she said your thumbnails aren't good enough, and that sent Graham down this rabbit hole of making the best thumbnails ever.
I owe it to her now. Now we're closing out 3 million subscribers because you didn't like the thumbnails. All right, guys.
All
All right, you guys. It was
Appreciate it.
fun being here. Take care, you guys.
Have a good night.
I'll see you.
Bye.
Peace out.
Hey, guys.
Well, they've been Millennial Money, episode 3, the Everything Market Crash. I've been Zoomers React. Links to all their YouTubes down below, and link to Yada down below. Yeah, I signed up for Graham's Yada. If you want a chance to sign up for Yada, link down below. Okay, I gotta post this and go eat, then record more episodes. Thanks for watching. Love y'all.